Do motorbikes scare you? Do you feel at risk? Do you feel intimidated by the dangers surrounding you?
Keep that vibe. Rubber side down.
I'm guessing, being a motorcyclist, that although you might get a little bit scared, it's not enough to stop you actually going out on your bike and enjoying it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that level of risk, all thanks to CalmBiker. Now, CalmBiker recently put up a video about the spectrum of risk, and it was quite interesting. He was talking about the way people perceive risk and deal with it with regards to motorcycles and things like that. So what I'm going to do is link to you at the bottom of this video in the description, and also at the end to his video and to his channel as well. Go check him out and subscribe. Now, I do suggest that you go and watch his video. Either go and watch it now or watch it once you finish my one, because he makes some good points, and I want to touch on a few of them. Now, my memory is not the best as far as recollecting things that happened a few seconds ago, or even a few hours ago, or even in my pre-birth ejaculation joy. So yes, I don't really remember exactly verbatim all the things that he said. So one of the things that CalmBiker touched upon on his video was the perceived level of risk, and that's the perceived level of risk through the eye of the person doing the risk assessment, isn't it? It's not necessarily the person carrying out the task. So in the past, most of my family members, although my dad's very supportive, were pretty much against me riding motorcycles, and every time motorcycles were brought up in conversation in front of one of them, they'd bring up, oh, this person we once knew died on a motorcycle, and another one lost an eye. And I understand that that is traumatic for someone, but if you do that to every single situation you get yourself involved in, if all you do is risk assess and worry and concern yourself with what ifs, what could possibly go wrong, what's the worst case scenario, you would never go out of your bed. You'd never even get into your bed, because that could be dangerous, because you might not wake up. You can't live a life based on the worst case scenario, but you can take it into consideration. So yes, we've got one end of the spectrum is the people that look on with love and fear for your care and safety, and then you've got the person who is maybe carrying out the activity, and they've got their own interpretation of what is and isn't an acceptable risk. And this is where you get a huge divide as motorcyclists on what is and isn't acceptable, whether it's the riding behaviour you have, the speeds that you ride at, the stunts you do on the main roads and what have you, the tight corners that you take at ridiculous lean angles, all that sort of thing. Everyone has an opinion on it. And then you've also got the people that are concerned about all the gear all the time, and then you've got every single level in between of people who go out in shorts and t-shirt and go, fuck you, stuff you, don't care, I'm not likely to fall off, I'm the best rider ever. Yammy do. And a lot of those guys who are out in their shorts and t-shirts and flip-flops are the ones that are going along pulling wheelies, trying to impress the girlies, or maybe it's the boys, who knows, who cares. But what they're doing is they're increasing their level of risk through their they don't give a fuck. And that's very mean to the people at the beginning of this conversation who are out there, who care about you and stuff like that, and don't want to see you get hurt. So a lot of the time when you're doing your little risk assessment about the kit that you're going to be wearing, you should also be thinking a little bit about those people back at home, because they care, and also they kind of have to pick up the pieces. And talking of that, another YouTuber I follow and vlogger, Ride On 2, he recently did a similar video to CalmBiker, and again I'll put a link down below and to his channel and his video, and also stick a link to the video at the end of this video. And he was kind of going on about a very similar sort of side of things, where it's not just you, the person on the road, that is affected by your choices, your bad choices, your good choices. It's all your loved ones, your friends, your family, who have to pick up the pieces afterwards, who are going to have to give you lifts to work, that's assuming that you can get to work, who are going to have to peel the pus out of your scabs and stuff like that, and scrub the gravel off your back. And he didn't even mention particularly, although I think he did touch on it, as did CalmBiker, the emergency services and the disruption all around you. Now, you might not care about the disruption all around you. I mean, we all have to get in a traffic jam every now and again, and God, my undersuit is digging into my balls. I'm sure you needed to know that. But yes, we've got this duty of care to those around us as well. Now, if I fall off my bike here, I'm going to cause a little bit of a tailback. It's a busy bank holiday. There's quite a lot of traffic around, so it will cause major disruption, especially if I got hurt and couldn't get the bike out the road, or had to lie in the road for ages waiting for an ambulance to come in. And then that ambulance has just wasted its trip coming out to pick me up because I was too stupid to wear the kit, and I'm suffering from massive gravel rash. So now that's out of action, or at least dealing with me while I'm out of action. And all the while it's dealing with me, another emergency call comes in. Your granny, she's just had a heart attack because she's heard that you've just had your accident, and there's no ambulance to go and get her because the one that was closest to her has now come off to come over and see you. So there is an ultimate consequence. Get a move on, please, thank you. There is an ultimate consequence to your thoughtlessness. Now, I am being kind of a hypocrite here. I am not an all the gear all the time kind of person, although today I am in full leathers. I've got my bike boots on, I've got my gloves on, I've got a full face crash helmet. I don't always wear this kit. If I was just jumping on the bike for a quick funny 5 minutes, or just wanted to pop out and have a chilled out ride on my Moto Guzzi, I would not be wearing all this kit. In fact, the only time I would wear this kit on my Moto Guzzi is if I was doing a track day. But what I'm getting at here is that I risk assess the type of riding that I'm likely to be doing on that particular bike or that particular day, and ride in accordance with my kit. Now, I'm sure a few of you have looked and commented on previous videos of mine saying, oh man, you're going really fast. And actually that's just camera trickery. I run my cameras in super view, which gives you that feeling of speed, especially when you're going through narrow roads like I generally ride. It makes them look so much faster, and I do that kind of intentionally because it makes me look like I'm a cool fast rider when really I'm just an average Joe. I'll be riding along in my jeans. I tend to stick my work boots on now instead of my trainers on my Moto Guzzi because a few of you have had a whinge, and that is a very wise whinge too, so I've taken that on board. But when we're riding, we have to assess the risk that we're doing to ourselves and to those around us and our loved ones. But that doesn't mean you have to wear all the gear all the time. It doesn't mean you have to wrap yourself up in bubble wrap. It doesn't mean that you have to stop going out enjoying yourself, doing the things that you love. You've got to go out, you've got to live your life, you've got to take some risks, or else you'll not have a life. And then one day you'll fall over dead, and you'll be like, I didn't do very much, did I? Now, I started skydiving for a bit a couple of years ago, and I risk assessed it in my head, not quite fully understanding the full implications of it all, other than the fact that when it goes wrong it's probably pretty bad. And yeah, I gave that a go, and I really enjoyed it up until the last jump I did, or rather the last landing I did. The jump was brilliant. And I hurt myself on that, and I hurt myself enough to realise that I've got to a point in my life where I've hurt myself enough. I don't need to add new risks to the already huge list of things that are going to hurt me. And I stopped, I gave that up. I decided, no, there's a line. I've ticked off that bucket list item. I no longer need to put myself in that position of peril. And to be honest, it was a huge position of peril because I was not very good at the skydiving thing. I don't think anyone is at just 15 jumps in, but I was particularly not very good. But by the by, when I ride my motorcycle, whether I'm on this one, which does incredibly high speeds, I've had faster bikes, I've had slower bikes, and I ride them all quite quickly, but not mega fast, not on the road, even on track. I mean, those of you that have looked at my track day videos, you'll know that I'm no British superbike rider. Well, I'm very much average, but just because I'm average doesn't mean that the risks I take are not perceived as above average by other people, or below average by others. Those guys that just wear t-shirts and flip-flops on their motorcycles probably look at me and go, God, you boring old man, what are you doing? Just go out and enjoy yourself. Whereas the more cautious of you are probably thinking, why are you filtering or lane splitting? That's dangerous, you could just get shot by someone who gets angry. And it's like, yeah, Not in the UK, mate. But it's just risks that are perceived by us. And we all think that the level of risk that we take is average Joe. It's right bang in the middle. It's the thing that everyone assumes about themselves, is that their choices are perfectly sane and rational. And they are, to you, at that particular point in time. That doesn't mean you can't change your mind about that level of risk at some point in the future. Good old Destination Triumph. I've got to go and see them at some point and give them a little discussion. So, levels of risk. Now, use the clutch. Now, when I ride my bike, I think that I am just riding my bike. I don't think I'm taking any more risks than the person in front of me in that car, or the person coming towards me in that car, or anyone else on the road, because I just think I'm just riding along and doing my thing. But the car that I'm about to overtake might well think that I'm a terrible driver, a huge risk taker, and I've just put the whole world in peril by my reckless disregard for humanity. When in reality, there was no more risk involved in what I just did there as there would have been if I'd stayed behind that particular car. But again, that's how I perceive that risk. How he perceives it is completely different. How that biker in front of me perceives me coming up her back end, whoever this is, might be completely different from the innocentness of me coming up her back end. I don't quite know where this is going. But yeah, she might think, oh man, aggressive rider, is he going to try and overtake me? No, I'm just going to tail behind for a little bit. Ride on 2, he's very much an all the gear all the time kind of guy, and he verges on the side of overcautious as far as my level of risk, my spectrum of risk goes. And CalmBiker, I would say again, is more cautious than myself. So actually, CalmBiker, I would say, is probably the average. Ride on 2 is probably on the side of caution, and I'm on the side of risk in perception. But I'm sure Ride on 2 doesn't think of himself as particularly cautious, and I'm sure CalmBiker doesn't think of himself as pretty much average, because none of us are, because they're just perceptions. I'm only using us three there as examples, and if you have to put us in order of risk taking, I would say I would be higher up the list than either of them. And that's not bragging rights, that's not top trump pub bullshit crap. That's just how I see our different riding styles. I think both of them in their videos had very valid points about the level of risks that we take and the responsibility we have to others while we're taking those risks. But I also think that other people have not a duty of care, but they should respect our decisions, or risk taking, all that sort of stuff, and allow us to make those choices on the basis that we're not doing it to hurt them or upset them. We're not doing it because we want them to wipe our asses when we can't because our hands have fallen off. We're doing it because it's just a passion that we have, and the level of risk that we take when we do it is weighed up. We're not going out going, I'm not going to come off today, so therefore I don't need to wear any kit. We're going out there going, I'm not going to do anything stupid enough today that would make me fall off and not wear any kit. Anyway, I'm not really quite sure if I've got what I wanted to say across on this. It's kind of a live and let live type situation, really, but just be aware that your perception of what is dangerous is often far different from the person standing next to you, or your son, or your father, or your mother, or your wife, or your daughter. And definitely, very often, far, far different from the policeman at the side of the road tugging you for doing 125 miles an hour. I don't know if I've really covered the points that both CalmBiker made very eloquently and the points that Ride on 2 made, but I do think that I've got a little bit across as to where I stand on this. Anyways, do check out CalmBiker's video as well as Ride on 2's video. Like I say, links at the end of this and down below. And let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on what is a safe way of riding, what is a safe amount of kit. Do you wear a crash helmet if you're not required to? Do you wear full leathers? Would you ride without these things on your hands? Would you ride without gloves? I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts, so please do drop in a comment below. And if you like this video and any of my thoughts on it, please feel free to give it a little thumbs up. And if you disagreed with me and you think I'm an idiot, again, feel free to give it a little thumbs down. It's all cool. It's all cool in the school. But do drop in that comment. Explain yourself. Explain yourself to me, son. Oh yeah. If you haven't done so already, please also click that subscribe button. It'd be great to have you come back for some more. Maybe you've come over from CalmBiker or Ride on 2's channels, or maybe you're just completely new and you just stumbled across me by mistake. What a mistake to make it.
Keep that rubber side down. You know, you gotta keep that bike rubber side down.